Just making.
So Teo Hank called into the show. Let me get this right. He called into the show, and this is about an hour later. It's about an hour later, and he sends me $50
Sure, I have the right one here.
to say Carter says he'll come on, send a link. And as far as I know, Teo Hank has a beef with Carter Electric. And I'm doing my show, and Stevie can't even look up who Jane Pauley is. He just goes, oh, wow. So I got all this shit going on. This is 2 hours into my show when the streaming already got fucked on show 1. And I'm supposed to go, I don't have producers talking in my ear telling me what's happening and what's real. So that's a fact, Jack. That's literally a fact. But people are like, why'd you have Carter on? I don't know. I had been drinking. This is 2 hours into the second show. I literally have to look up shit. I'm like, no, not Katie Couric. Stevie Lou's take is, oh, wow. Well, that's making my head spin. How about now I have to tell him, look it up. And then I tell him another time to look it up. So it's like, I get to a point where none of this is worth it. I did 2 shows. Ray, did you get paid for Friday yet? Maybe you won't. I did 2 shows on Friday. Gross total of $1,314. YouTube took $689.01. They gave me $624.99. They gave me 47% of the gross. YouTube did. $1,314 on Friday with the 2 shows. YouTube took $689.01, 53%. They took more than they gave me. But I'm supposed to go, why did you have Cardiff on? I don't know. And then it turns out that him and the Sorcerer are palsies. So at this point, I'm like, who gives a flying? Who gives a flying fuck? This is when the Teo Hank. But people are like, how come you let him on? I don't know. Who gives a fuck? At that point, I already knew I didn't make a lot of money on Friday, even though I did 6 hours. And I grossed $1,314, but I netted $624.99. At that point, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Just like I didn't give a fuck. Plus, you add in, I had already been drinking for 2 hours. The first show had already got fucked up. Stevie Lou can't even look up shit without me prompting him. But I'm the problem. I shouldn't have had Carter Electric on, even though Teo Hank has never sent $50 before. So I'm like, well, let's get to the bottom of it, because we just watched Teo Hank calling into Cardiff, where he's like, hey, how come? And we watched that live on my show. It wasn't live for them, but it was live for me. So they're all watching. And now all of a sudden, Teo Hank and Cardiff are palsies. So I'm like, all right, well, let's see where we are. And again, I wasn't behind it. All right. And another question I asked them, Carl's gay. Carl is gay. I looked up the Jimmy Fallon thing, on the same thing as Carl. Jimmy Fallon got married when he was 33. His wife was 40. Nancy Juvanin. She's 57 now. Jimmy Fallon will be 50 this year. She's 57. They had 2 kids, and they got married in 2007 when Jimmy Fallon was 33. His wife was 40, basically the same numbers as Carl. They had 2 kids in 2013 and 2014, both by surrogacy. There you go. Carl has no kids. So, and again, when you start getting your early 30s, probably even in Rochester, probably late 20s, people start talking. This guy's not married. So they're like, let's just, and in Jimmy Fallon's case, he was going to get the Tonight Show at some point. So Lauren probably said, like, you're going to get married or something. People are making jokes about me because I wasn't married when I was 30. But I know I was with ladies. Did Carl ever? No, I mean, it's like, also, again, it is what it is. So people are like, Your show sucks without guests. I know. It does suck. I apologize. It sucks. There's nothing we can do. It sucks. And then I have Stevie Lou on, and the reason, again, it's I'm not blaming anybody, but the reason the first show got fucked up was because Stevie said you're getting whatever spammed in the chat, in the free chat. Again, I don't care because I don't look at the free chat unless I'm asking for information. So I didn't care. But Stevie when Stevie comes on, a lot of potatoes or a lot of tomatoes come in. So Stevie probably sees that you're getting spammed, and so then I got to make it members only. And in the process, I was going to put the link up, and then that backfired. But again, I had been drinking. We are half hour into the first show. So can I drink on a Saturday? Is that allowed? So am I a tendency to make more mistakes maybe when I'm copying and pasting? Probably. Just like when people are drinking and driving, they run over hockey players. Maybe he wouldn't have done that if he was sober. Potato was great. Have him on more. Flat Cut. I saw that you super chatted or tweeted that if I have Potato on, then I gotta have Pat Dixon on. You have Pat Dixon on, Flat Cat. You have him on. Pat Dixon's a loser. He's a loser. He lost his channel twice. Two-time loser. Two-time loser, Pat Dixon. I believe all women. Two-time loser, Pat Dixon. Then he gets the great coup. He gets Kumia on, the great Kumia. That's his big coup, getting Kumia. And then he has somebody else on, too. I'm sending a link to Kumia. And then somebody told me Shuli can't speak about why Kumia can't do the Uncle Rico show anymore. Shh. He can talk about kiddie porn. Shh. Take back tonight. But he can't talk about why Kumia can't do a show? Is the FBI involved or the CIA? Or the IDF? So Flat Cat's like, hey, if you had the Potato on, then you can have Pat Dixon. Okay. Flat Cat, you have him on your show, and then I'll have him on my show. Or wait, why doesn't Melton have Pat Dixon on all the time? Aren't they palsies? You don't have to apologize for Carter. No, I didn't pay any attention to it, and then I'm like, okay. Last night, when everybody went to sleep, I done all my chores. I milked the cows, put away the hay, and I'm like, oh. And then people are like, Brennan had the Potato on. And this is why I'm telling you. We watched a clip of Teo Hank calling into the show, and they were rude to Teo Hank. And now all of a sudden, Teo Hank wants me to have Cardiff on. He sends me $50. Again, that was the biggest super chat we got at that point. And again, at that point, I didn't give a fuck. Because like I said, YouTube took $689 on Friday. So you think I give a fuck? Like, oh, what if we have Cardiff on? Oh, that'll be terrible. It doesn't matter what I have on. I have Stevie Lou on. He's like, oh, that's a real head scratcher. Look. Wow. Again, I didn't know everybody's friends with the Potato. Sorcerer's friends with the Potato. Stevie Lou, I guess they send each other dick pics. I mean, I don't even know what's going on. Jimmy Fallon right on cue. Jimmy Fallon, yeah, he got married when he was 33. His wife was 40. Basically the same parameters of Carl. Carl was in his early 30s and she was in her late 30s. So again, in Rochester, people are going to be like, In showbiz, people are going to be like, what's the Jimmy Fallon? Jimmy Fallon. He married someone who was 7 years older than him when he was on TV. Colin Jost is married to Scarlett Johansson. Jimmy Fallon is 5 times more popular than Colin Jost. When they were both on SNL, when Jimmy Fallon was on SNL and Colin Jost was on SNL, Jimmy Fallon is like 5 times more popular than Colin Jost. That's a fact. And he married Scarlett Johansson. Colin Jost did. Jimmy Fallon married some old lady who was friends with Drew Barrymore. Nancy Juvonen. You can look her up. She's got a Wikipedia. Julie don't. Norm dated Elle McPherson, the top supermodel and the top 5 supermodels in the world. Norm can't even have a fucking regular conversation, but he dated a supermodel. Jimmy Fallon, in his prime, dated someone who was 7 years older than him. And then they had 2 kids by surrogacy. But Carl Strait, got it, Cardiff. Got it. Sometimes when I try to explain to people why I watch MLC or why KB is my dude, the first thing I say is because you don't give a fuck. Yeah. How can I? How can I possibly give a fuck? And again, Tio Hank sent me $50. I know Tio Hank. I've hung out with him. Solid guy. I mean, I'm not just saying it because he's fat. He's a solid guy. Regular guy. Blue collar guy. So I'm like, okay, maybe we'll get to the bottom of it with the potato. And again, at this point, I don't give a fuck what happened at brunch that day. I don't care. I don't care who said what to who said don't no pictures, what happened to Ray's blanket. I mean, and then people are like, isn't this your 1,000th show? Fuck you. You do your show, I'll do mine. You got a big guest, do I? Like who?